Hey, welcome to Lead a Life Uncommon. I'm Mary Bicknell, former psychotherapist and sales training turned business success coach for female entrepreneurs and business owners ready to jump off that plateau, my friends, smash through your income ceiling and simplify every single thing in your life and business so you can have some time back. Yeah. Remember that free time? That's why you started your business in the first place, so you could do all the other kind of cool stuff of life. So maybe you're here because you need to tweak your marketing, your selling, or your offer. Maybe it's time to stop sabotaging, dump the fear, up level your mindset, and allow yourself to make all the money you crave while living out your purpose. If you're ready to make everything simpler, get more productive, have more free time, and truly lead a life uncommon, this is your go-to podcast. Weekly biz bites, deep dives, and interviews will ensure you're going to get the answers. Ready? Let's go. Get ready. This is good. I think I say that every time. All about relationship marketing. Okay. I'm not going to go over this completely. I'm just going to tell you the story. And then you can read this. Have you ever dated a guy or you were single and you're like, oh my God, I really want to date him. I really want to get a husband. I really want to get a wife. I really want to have a lover. And somebody showed up and you were kind of hot on them. You're like, ooh. And you're like, tell me what you're interested in. And they said, I'm interested in football. And you said, I love football. Oh my God, I love football. You fucking hate football. You hate it. You're just saying something to get the guy. Or I love yoga. You were just saying something to get the girl. Whatever. Relationship marketing is about you learning to show up like yourself. Because when you show up like yourself, you're being not only honest, more importantly, you're not being deceitful. In other words, when you're showing up, even if it's in fear, because see, a lot of times you're showing up in fear to really be myself because is anybody going to buy my shit? And the unfortunate thing is you don't get the opportunity to really pull in and attract your ideal client because what you're putting out there is a facade, a lie. And so that's what happens. And then what happens is you get frustrated because you're like, this isn't the right client. I don't really like this client. Maybe I should change my niche. Maybe I should quit. Maybe this coaching thing is not for me. When in reality, you're not being your fucking self. Right? You're not being yourself. That amazing, wonderful, like real you that the world has the honor to get to know, and your clients have the honor to work with you. And more importantly, my friend, you get the honor to work with these people who are attracted to the real you. Look, this really, God, I didn't expect to get emotional. When I really got this, like, I'm the fat, ugly girl. I am the, tortured as shit in school. Tortured brutally, like PTSD from my childhood. Not to mention, we won't even talk about the abuse in my family. I had everyone saying that I was nothing. My family, my parents were like, we didn't even think you were going to graduate high school. I'm the only one in my family that makes millions of dollars, lives in a $2 million home. Money in the bank. Clients pay 5 figures to work with me one-on-one. Do they get a return on their? Yeah, they get a big ass return. Because I'm in it with them. Like I am with you. What I learned is when I stopped worrying about what other people thought about me, because you know what? I've been judged my whole fucking life. So why do I care what somebody that I don't even care about cares? I'm going to write that down. I'm going to replay this. Why do you care about people who you don't even know? People are already judging you. It's already happening. When you show up to be your real self and you attract that client in who's thrilled out of their mind to work with you, it's a gift. It's a gift. I have loved working with every one of you. And those of you who haven't been on the calls, I know that you're watching, and I know watching the replays, watching the recordings, I know that on some level we still have a relationship because you know I'm pouring into you. See, when you show up to be the real you and you attract clients who want to work with the real you, that's when good stuff happens. That's when your clients are going to hear things differently because they know you're being truthful and transparent. Like, I'm sure that if I was like, and then what you can do to, be a mindful meditation practicing coach so that you can love and heal the world. If I showed up like that, I'm going to attract a bunch of people that don't resonate with like who I really am. Even though I think all that, like, be mindful, be conscious, don't be a floating head, heal the world, show up, do good, be of service. Like that is my message also, but it's not my personality, my brand, really who I am. And there's nothing wrong with that other person or those other people who show up like that. That's just not me. When we show up being the real me and we attract the right person into our life, that's magic. It's the same thing with you being the football girl. Men are assholes. Men are assholes. I can never find me a good woman. Because if you're being the real you and you only accept and tolerate respect and anybody else, fuck them. When I met John, I shared with you that I used that Starbucks exercise to really make sure that I was at the high vibration that a man like what I wanted and I dreamt about would be attracted to me. It's the same with your clients. And so when you're that real person, people who are like, I can never find a client. And I'm like, well, are you showing up and you're like confident in yourself? And I'm not saying that you have to be 100% confident all the time, but you can't be trying to put on a show. Okay. So I want you to go through this and like, this is the question. How soon is somebody going to buy from me? How soon is this going to happen? When am I going to make money? Ask a better question. How committed am I to do the marketing, to testing, see what works? It's not just testing the words that come out of your mouth to see whether they resonate. It's experimenting with non-boring stuff. It's showing up like the real you. It's throwing stuff out there. Find within a 30-mile radius, and actually we're going to be talking about like prospecting here in a few minutes and over the next couple, networking and marketing and stuff. But go outside your town. This is what I literally did. I would drive down to Salem, which was like an hour from where I live, and I would practice. I went to networking events and stuff like that, and I did speaking gigs down there, and I practiced on people. I still delivered great, right? But I experimented. I experimented with who I am and how I showed up. I experimented with being the real me. This is the other thing. Don't be a Sandy didn't die in the hospital marketer. What does that mean? Some of you throw like a little something out and you're like, nobody bought my stuff. I did one post. Nobody commented. You got to put some stuff out there. You got to go talk to people. So my dad called me one day. Actually, I called him and I was just like randomly calling my dad. Excuse me. So I randomly called my dad one day. I was like, hey, how you doing? And he's like, well, Sandy didn't die in the hospital. Sandy, his wife, my stepmother, but his wife. I'm like, what do you mean Sandy didn't die in the hospital? What are you talking about? Oh, she had surgery. Her sister posted it on Facebook. Her sister, I have no idea. He doesn't get it. And some of you don't get it. You need to have consistency. You need to be frequently posting things. You need to be constantly sharing who you are. What does that look like? I spend about 10 hours of like direct marketing. That means whether I'm at a networking event, that means if I'm interacting in Facebook, that means whether I'm posting the stuff, that means whether I'm having sales conversations. That does not mean I'm reading books on business. I'm watching a webinar that somebody else is delivering. That does not mean even I'm writing a blog post or recording a video. That is not money-making activities or marketing time. Okay, here's a couple strategies. There's a lot here, and I'm going to go through them quickly because you do not have to know every single one of these. This is the only marketing strategy you need to know right now. Go tell people you can help them. People are everywhere. These are some of the strategies that you can learn down the road, right? I've talked a little bit about like the next level thing is the Big Bold Life and Biz Plan for women who want the next level in their business, and also Mastery Mastermind, where we go into deeper nuances of all of these really cool things. So here's some ideas. Ready? Take notes here. Social media. So this includes posting on whatever media platform, LinkedIn, etc., right? This is about you creating a comment, a blog post, a video. This is about you showing up on Pinterest. Are your ideal clients on LinkedIn? Where can you do networking? Did you know that there's article submissions out there? Yeah, Google article submission. Look at some of your favorite blogs. How can you offer, hey, Sally, I see that you work with 45-year-old women who are looking to improve their life. I've read this article and this article, this blog post and this blog post of yours. I see that sometimes you have guests post, and I created this blog for you. It's called, whatever it is, 3 bullet points. Sally Sue, how to have a better life at 45, and the 3 bullet points that you would cover in your blog. That's the same format when I talk later about getting on a podcast. So this is a little bit about how to do it. It's like research. So you're being articulate to see whether they have the right population of people, your ideal target. How can you be of service to them? The same with speaking. Look, you can make a lot of money just speaking live. You never have to get on online ever. Ever. Do you understand? You never have to even be online if you don't want to. You could make hundreds of thousands of dollars speaking in a 3-hour radius around your house and then spending $150 and flying wherever. I can fly down to California. I can fly to Vancouver, BC, British Columbia for $150. That's actually one of the things I'm planning. One of the things I do with my speaking gigs, and this might be a strategy for you. When I want to go visit a place, I find business there so I can write the whole trip off. I'm not your CPA, check into that, blah, 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 blah. Where would you like to travel to? So actually the other day, I said to a client, well, actually I have a couple clients in Europe, and they're like, blah, 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 speaking. And I said, if you get me booked, I'll fly right the hell out there, right? One's in London, one's in Italy. Yeah, I'll go. I have clients in Canada. That's easy. All over the United States. Easy. Speaking. That's not something that you need to worry about now, but it's something to contemplate. There's lots of local groups, meetups, etc. You could go to them. Go to them and practice. Right now, look up meet up, and I'm not sure how to spell it, plus menopause. See what comes up. Or meet up and plus vegan. I don't know, whatever your thing is. Okay, now get ready. This is a strategy I'm going to talk about. And I'll talk about it a little bit more in another video. Facebook tapping. So you can go into, of course, I've gone into various groups that have my ideal clients, and maybe some of you have found me through that. I'm in there, I'm answering questions. I'm not in there spamming. I'm not in there trying to like steal clients. I'm in there answering questions. That's it. And so as I'm answering questions, people notice, of course, right? And as they notice, sometimes they reach out to me. Other times when you're providing value, some of the times the group host will say, blah, 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 post your free stuff in there. That's your time to show up. The other thing, sometimes when I'm answering questions and they're back and forth, I say to them like, hey, so we're not junking up the feed. Let me know if you want to chat about this. That's it. I don't private message them, because you'll get a little, but this is called tapping. This is major. This kind of same thing you can do in LinkedIn. I guess LinkedIn's up here. So one of the things in LinkedIn, same kind of thing. You can make those, you can look up in LinkedIn your ideal client. This just happened literally the other day with a client. She looked up, she works with single professionals. I don't know how she knew they were single. I'm not sure within LinkedIn because they have the sales navigator. She looked up, maybe it was just like high level executives. She started making these connections. Hey, Sally Sue, I see that you work for blah, blah, blah. The couple of the big corporations in her local area. I see, and so she just reached out to them. And then there was just the little dialogue. Hey, I'm not sure if you're aware, I'm a relationship expert. I work with women executives who sometimes feel like they're just burnt out. Let me know if you know anyone like that. Do you see how I give you some scripts, but I also just riff off of stuff? Don't overthink everything. Now, once you come up with something that sounds like you, then you can make this cut and paste. But right now, practice reaching out to people. Practice. I definitely have every single one of these things I can go through a script, but that's not the relevant piece here. The tapping part, definitely do that. Like reach out, answer questions when the group says, hey, post your free blah, blah, blah. Collaborations. This is down the road for you. And a lot of these things are down the road, but collaborations, there might be a day after you get a vibe and you're doing some client work. Let's say that you do relationship coaching and you collaborate with a divorce attorney. You do relationship coaching and you provide for them a customer appreciation for the single women now single. What about collaborating with your local church and providing premarital communication workshop? What about if you are a wellness professional and you work on, you have everything to do with working out? What if you collaborated with a vegan chef? Right? Email. Okay, I'm going to tell you right now, this is what you need to say for your emailing people. Once you set your date, which is actually down here a little bit further, once you set your date, this is what you're going to say. Okay? Oh my gosh, I'm so excited to share with you what's been going on in my world. I have opened a coaching business and I work with, and this is where you go back to your 1, 2, 3 non-boring, right? You already have that script in the non-boring. Actually, I'll say that. The intro, use the non-boring. So you can go in there and actually bullet point. I wanted to let you know that I'm working with, I am becoming a relationship coach. I am working with single women over the age of 35, and I am helping them reconnect with their, themselves after they've been in a crap relationship and feel like blah, 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 blah. Bullet point, bullet point, bullet point. Or give those examples, right? I help work with women so that they can feel sexy again, so that when they're connected with their husband or when they start dating again, that's a niche, total niche. I'm a wellness professional and I work with body image with women, single women who have been through a bad divorce, so that they can get reconnected with themselves and feel sexy, so that when they're with the first guy, they're not worried about turning the lights off or shunning with him touching, something along those lines. If you have current clients, tell them I'm transitioning into coaching. Your personal circle, same thing. So doing a business kickoff, this is just an awareness. And so we're going to be doing the same non-boring intro. Like the project I'm really excited about is kicking off my coaching business. I'd love for you to come. Have people over for a barbecue. Have people over for something light. You might want to have something fun. Let's say that you are a wellness professional and you have a little 3-question questionnaire there who's like, who knows what the number one cause of cancer is? Or like, maybe that's a little downer, but like think about something to create engagement. And when you do this, these are questions that relate only back to your solution. So turn the problem that you help people with into a question. So back to the divorced 45-year-old who's thinking, all men are assholes. And you decide, I'm going to invite all the women I know because I am a relationship coach working with 45-year-old plus divorce or divorced women. So they might fill out like, what's the number one cause of divorce? And then ask questions. So their problem is, where's the best place to find a guy? You might have somebody that puts, I don't know. Do you think they would be a good good client? Yeah. She's stuck. She doesn't know. There's a million places. Men are everywhere. Offer breakthrough sessions. Offer like little mini sessions, like little freebie sessions. Don't offer too many of those. You can do it under the a weight loss evaluation, a burnout protocol, a business assessment, a freebie mini session, a taster, a mindset breakthrough, a relationship recap, a communication, like all of that. Eventually you can do webinars, you can do Google AdWords. This is way down the road. Yelp, there's some things that like I have a Google business. Actually, let me put that in here. So the Google AdWords is down the road, but your Google business, you could totally do that right now. So if you looked up life coach in Lake Oswego, Oregon, you would see Mary Bicknell. Okay? So definitely do that. Let me put a note here. I might just go ahead and shoot another little easy, quickie video for you on that. This also goes to your Facebook fan page. Okay, so we're going to talk about that when you get to systems. And actually, I will put this in the systems, the business, Google business. I'll do a video in that and put it into systems because one of your modules within the systems is client enrollment. So I'll just make sure that I include it in there. So Facebook, this page, I'll go into more detail about that. Yelp. Some of these things, I don't know if Yelp costs right now. Host an expert panel, that is really easy. You can do that in your own hometown. Again, this is collab or online. I've done this a couple times online, made tons of money, added tons of people to my email list. And that's a whole separate training because you have to be pretty organized for that. But you can also do it in your hometown. You could collaborate with 3 or 4 different people. You could all invite people and have like an expert panel on a Saturday morning at your local coffee shop. And so part of this is you just showing up and getting out there. All of these things, it's not just for you to find clients, it's for you to be visible. Because the visibility piece is one of the key things that you have to overcome. So pick 2. Eventually you're going to pick at least 5. And then eventually there's a lot of these. You weave them in your year of marketing plan. Like you might decide that you want to host an online expert panel. That's like at least 6 or 8 months out to plan. Why? Because those expert people that you have their own marketing calendar. And they're not going to want to share to their list or say, hey, I was on such and such an expert panel to their list if they have something they're going to be pitching. Let's just say, you want to have this in July. You want to start in January talking to people. Hey, I'm putting together this expert panel in July. But again, that's a whole nother training. My point here is start allowing yourself to think about things. It's not even every time that this is about you making millions of dollars or even $5,000. This is about you continuing to show up, be in that posture. Where can you see things? Because see, when you show up and you tell people what you do and you're planting seeds, you don't know what door will open. And so part of this is you can't build a business by yourself. This was a hard thing for me to learn. I really just I like to do everything by myself, but I learned I can't do it alone. Okay. The next thing, the final thing in this training right here is how do you buy? How do you, what do you notice, right? So it starts with you understanding also how you buy things. Probably your ideal client might be a little similar to you or a lot similar. She might or he might buy or invest, in the things the same way you do. So go through this, fill this out, go back through these different strategies for marketing. I will go through them even in more detail if you have questions. You post them, ask me. I'm happy to go a little deeper, but pick 2 ways that you want to do something now. And my suggestions would be showing up in a Facebook group and live networking. So you can play with being online and offline. Those are always the 2 I suggest to start with. Go make it a great day, and I will see you in the next video. Don't forget, leave a comment and a 5-star rating, and I'll talk to you soon.